Alright, this time we're going to read from Exodus chapter 19, verses 14 through 25, and that will finish chapter 19. I've also loaded up more from Ron Wyatt and Discovering God's Treasure, or Revealing God's Treasure. And I thought we'd start with that, then read from the Bible, and then finish with a little more of this, and then go to the next episode. So let's get into it.
From this same area, one can look upward and see the burned and blackened peak. The rock has literally been burned from the intense heat. When Moses was on the mountain with God, a golden calf was built in the camp by a rebellious group. As Moses was descending the mountain, he saw the people dancing around the golden calf. Here we can see the encampment from the mountain and the location of the altar for the golden calf.
All right, let's read a little bit. And Moses came down from the hill to the people, and hallowed it. And when they had washen their clothes, he said to them, Be ye ready into the third day. Knee ye not to your wives. And now the third day was coming, and the mortide was clear, and lo, thunders beginning to be heard, and lets to shine, and a moist thick cloud to hile the mountain, and the sowing of a clarion made noise full greatly, and the people dread that was in the castles. And when Moses had led them out into the coming of God from the place of the castles, they stood at the roots of the hill, for so all the hill of Sinai smoked. For the Lord had come down thereon in fire, and smoke stayed thereof as of furnace, and all the hill was furtful. And the sound of a clarion increased little, and was holden forth lenger. Moses spake, and the Lord answered to him. And the Lord came down on the hill of Sinai, and thilcop the hill, and clept Moses to the cop thereof. And when he had stayed thither, the Lord said to him, Go thou down, and witness thou to the people, lest peradventure it will pass the terms to say the Lord, and full great multitude thereof perish. Also priests that name to the Lord be hallowed, lest I smite them. And Moses said to the Lord, The coming people may not stay into the hill of Sinai, for thou hast witnessed and hast commanded, saying, Set thou terms about the hill, and hallow it. To whom the Lord said, Go thou down, and thou shalt stay, and Aaron with thee, for so the priests and the people pass not the terms, neither stay they to the Lord, lest peradventure he slay them. Moses yede down to the people, and told all things to them. And now from King James. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day, come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. And the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou charged us, saying, Set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And the Lord said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people, and spake unto them. So ends the reading. Next time we will read from chapter 20, starting with verse 1. And we will also listen to a little more from Revealing God's Treasure before we end this video.
Using Google Earth, we can zoom in on the large boulders which comprise the base of the altar. On the ground, we can see the massive large boulders and the fence erected by the Saudi authorities in an effort to preserve this site. Again, we have the government sign warning visitors to keep out.
Archaeological area.
It was on top of these large boulders that the golden calf was placed. 11 of the 12 tribes, save the tribe of Levi, danced around the golden calf in rebellion to God.
Well, that was the Egyptian way.
Panning from Mount Sinai, we peer through the fence and see amazing images that are inscribed on the rocks. Egyptian-style figures of the Egyptian god Hathor have been placed here like graffiti.
Hathor, like in Las Vegas, for people that go to Vegas.
The bull was placed in high esteem in Egypt, where the children of Israel had just left. So they created images that came natural to their rebellious heart.
Fallen back into their old ways. Soon as Moses and Aaron leave, especially Moses.
These images were inscribed here because the golden calf was resting here at the time. These inscriptions are unique to Saudi Arabia, according to a Saudi archaeologist.
Look at that. They're all over those rocks.
Mount Sinai was first discovered in 1984 by Ron Wyatt and his sons, who walked across the border into Saudi Arabia without a visa in order to document the evidence here. After seeing the mountain, he and his sons were captured and were accused of espionage. They spent 78 days in prison, awaiting execution, before they were finally released. Here, they were interviewed by CBS television.
That interview's not in this video, or in the Revealing God's Treasure video. They did tell a story of that experience. I mean, imagine how frightening that would be. But I think it was one of his sons that was saying there was a point where Ron and both of his sons were told to walk away from their captors who, didn't speak English. I guess the native tongue, and well, I'm ignorant to that. I've never been there. So let's just say they were speaking a foreign language, and they didn't expect Ron and his boys to understand that language. So the trick was they had them walk away from them as though they were about to execute them or put them up against the wall to execute them. And while they were walking away, they told them some command like stop or something in their native tongue because they wanted to see if they understood it. And I guess Ron had clued his kids in. Don't do anything out of the ordinary. Just keep walking like you don't understand any of their language, because if you show a sign that you do, which I think they did understand it enough to know what he was saying, but they had to pretend that they didn't know it so that they wouldn't be concluded to be spies and hence done away with. See you next time.